Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another amazing segment of the Black Girl Encourage Her. You know, the place where we are bringing forth all of this goodness, all of this encouragement. And it's not just for Black girls, it is for everyone. But of course, we are bringing it to you from a Black girl's perspective. But I am excited to be before you all yet again because I've got an amazing guest. And I know you're like, Sheniqua, you say that every week. But guess what? I'm bringing in the best of the best. I have been blessed to be connected to such amazing people. And I take so much pride in being able to introduce them to you all. So without any further, shenanigans, let's go ahead and bring today's guest up. We've got Dr. Elizabeth Jennings in the house. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
I am excited. If you cannot tell, I am super excited because honestly, I'm just going to put it out there so everybody know we're going to hold each other accountable. When we met in South Africa, we should have been connected by now. Like, this should not be the first time that we are connecting since our South Africa trip. So I'm excited because it's like, man, this has been a long time that we should have had a conversation by now, but we know that a delay is not a denial. So we are here today to have our conversation. I know a little bit about you, Dr. Elizabeth. Please share with everyone who you are in your heart of hearts.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me on the Black Girl Encourage Her. I truly
Yes.
believe that God is very intentional in his timing. And so even though we connected, a few months ago, like I knew that it was going to happen because there was just this divine, just glow, spirit, excitement, just energy whenever we did conversate. And so whenever it comes to timing, I am so like learning to just be in the present and trusting God for the connections. And so this is a perfect time. Mindset wise, I am ready to just relax and share. And so many beautiful things have happened since we've been in South Africa. So first of all, just want to say thank you. Thank you for having me on. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Jennings. Hello, everyone who's tuning in. I wear many hats, but I'm going to keep it kind of short and simple. You will probably learn more about me as we go on with this conversation. But in a nutshell, my profession, I am an occupational therapist. I've been doing that for 22 years.
Wow.
I predominantly work with pediatrics. And so I love the kids, but I also do work with adults also. And so I am an entrepreneur. I have a coaching company called Remember You Matter, coaching, consulting, and mentoring. I am a speaker, multiple best-selling author, and just truly a mental health advocate. I am a lover of God, a single mom with two beautiful kids, and I have two fur babies that I call my own also. So that is me in a nutshell.
I love it. And listen, my viewers, they already are accustomed to my guests having multiple hats because they too wear multiple hats. So you are in the right place, my sister. You are definitely in the right place. So this is a great place to be. Now we're gonna get into the conversation. We're gonna talk about some of the things that you have been doing. But one of the things that I really want to talk about is because you did say you are a big mental health advocate. I am too. So that's why I'm like, we're going to start there.
Yes.
Because I think mental wellness is an aspect that has been neglected for many years in healthcare. And I think the times have shifted where now we're starting to pay more attention to it. Can you tell us from your own experience why mental wellness, why being a mental health advocate is so important to you?
Yeah. So personally, I've been one of those people who, just with the stigma associated with mental health, like
Mhm.
back in the days where, everything that was going on that was related to our mental and emotional health, we pushed to the side and we just kind of strived on, right? We kept going until we hit a brick wall and we couldn't keep going anymore. And personally, that happened to me. And so, from my own personal experience of hitting my big brick wall, falling, having to intentionally like take time away, reset myself, get to know
Mhm.
myself, love myself, and then come back on the scene is where I truly started seeing myself living. I truly started seeing how it was possible to still deal with mental, emotional life struggles, but do it from a place of being healthy, doing from a place of being balanced, doing it from a place of truly loving yourself as we are living and embarking on this life. And so that is now like part of my life mission, is to help people of all ages, whether it's youth, whether it's adults, to know that they don't have to suffer in silence, that they can vocalize when they are dealing with mental, emotional strains, problems, and learn how to ask for help, seek help, and be able to strive and overcome and share that experience with others.
I love that. And oftentimes when you hear people talk about their life's mission, it's because of something that they've been through. And one of the things that because mental health, it has become my platform. It's where I stand because of the struggles that I have had with mental health. But what they fail to realize is when you make it your life's mission, sometimes, it is about the greater good and how you can help everybody. But it's the lifestyle that you have to lead.
Yeah.
So it's like if I have to do these things on a day to day basis to keep myself sane, to keep myself mentally well, then I might as well tell everybody about it. I might as well help people along this journey. But can you tell us where you believe your greatest struggle with your mental health was, or where it started? Like, can you just give us a little intro to that?
Yeah. So I would say for me, it was a matter of insecurities within myself,
Mhm.
meaning truly not knowing who I was, truly not knowing my worth and my value, which, of course, when we deal with those and we keep it in silent, then we deal with anxiety, then we deal
Yep.
with depression, and then we deal with all the other side effects of it. And so, truly understanding and being able to start with the root of what the problem was is where I've learned and where I share with others the importance of. A lot of us will start with, well, I have anxiety or I have depression, but we truly don't identify what is that trigger that we are
Mhm.
always dealing with that leads to these other things. And so for me to start with saying that it was my low self-esteem, not knowing my worth, then I'm able to truly address the areas
Yes.
that will lead to the anxiety or depression that, I still may deal with, because the beauty of growing is that we understand once we identify something and once we're healing, healing is a lifelong process. So
Yes.
it's so important to be aware of that, be aware of what our triggers are, be aware of what we're susceptible to, so that as we go through life, that we still are able to be mindful of what's going to help us whenever I need to pull back, whenever I need to do my affirmations, whenever I need to set my boundaries and say no,
Yes,
whenever
honey.
I need to reflect on, okay, we've come too far to go back, and how do we reset before we move forward, taking that
Mm.
pause when necessary. Those are things that I continue to do so that I don't get to a point where I was before, where I have to totally shut it all down for
Mhm.
like this
Mhm.
extended period of time.
Mhm. It's almost like a daily maintenance. Like, so when you have a car, it's the little things that you can do day by day to help maintain the car, to keep it at its full capabilities, rather than waiting until all four tires have blown out and now you're in need of a tow and all of that. So I love how you broke it down for us about the little things, whether it's the affirmations, whether it's, what, maybe I need to pause from this situation, just really being able to understand what's going on with you.
Yes.
Now, one of the main reasons why I wanted us to have this conversation with the viewers is because there are some things that I believe stop people from getting to that next level, from operating in their optimal greatness. Oh, I'm actually wearing my greatness shirt. How about
Yes,
that,
I
right?
love it.
So,
So intentional.
I love it, right? So there are some things that we know, there's some barriers, there's some things that people need to overcome. But what I want to start by asking you, Dr. Elizabeth, is what would you say would be your definition of the word success? If someone came to you and said, you know what, we're giving you the pencil of life, you write down what the definition would be, how would you describe success to us?
Yeah. So I, first of all, I think that's a beautiful question. I told you I'm a writer. And so a lot of things that I do in regards to writing, I write like a coach. And in one of my books, in regards to the finisher's mindset, I talk about defining right what success
Hmm.
is, and what that means to us, and it's very personal. So I'm going to give you my simple
Yes.
definition of what success is. To me, success is living in a space of contentment, happiness, and joy in every day of my life that I'm
Hmm.
living. And so that's what success is doing things that bring about contentment, that brings about joy, and that brings about happiness in my life.
Okay. Now, how would somebody get there?
Yeah. So, you know what? I think the first thing is understanding that success is a very personal journey.
Hmm.
It starts with us. And that's the first thing to remember. A lot of times when we're looking at success, we're looking at other people's story,
Yeah.
we're looking at other people's journey. And it's okay to have a model. It's okay to have, something that we're striving for, but we truly have to learn to be successful, to achieve what I share as being contentment, that joy, that happiness, that peace that you feel. It's really being clear on where your lane is, right? And the
Hmm.
lane that God has created for you to be able to strive on, to be able to walk on, to be able to thrive on. And I use all
Yeah.
those words because it's not always an easy process. And because we are at times striving, right? At times we are
Hmm.
even crawling along that road. Like, as long as we are keeping going, as long as we are on
Yes.
our road, then we are on the path and we're able to achieve that. We're able to, if we're not moving, we may be at a point of stillness and we have peace with
Hmm.
that. If we are moving, we're at a place of balance, of knowing, wait a minute, I need to like look ahead. I need to see what obstacles may be there. I need to plan for it, and I need to move strategically through those things. And so really being able to know your lane, being able to trust the path that God has laid out for you by being in tune with that, and being able to continue to go, not quitting,
Yes.
realizing that it's
Yes.
not a sprint, right? It is a
Hmm.
long journey of a beautiful life ahead. And there are ups and downs and there are things that we have to overcome. But if you keep going, then you'll continue on the path to where you're supposed to be.
Yes, I love it. Now, I'm ready. I'm ready for you because we have to address some things. You know how they say you have to address the elephant in the room. Some things that, I know people want success. I know this is like the ultimate goal where everyone is trying to reach, but there are some obstacles or perceived, I think I want to say perceived obstacles that come up, and I need you to help us dismiss those. We need to figure out a game plan of how we're going to get over them. The first thing that comes to my mind is perfectionism. What would you say to someone who is aiming or who is leading in this spirit of perfectionism in their route towards greatness, in their route towards achieving success?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I would first kind of start with our mindset, right? When we think about perfectionism, and the first question that I would ask that person who is considering that, because we all have, right? A lot of us
Mm-hmm.
really, like when we think of being success, we put these standards, or self-imposed, or other people may impose those standards on us, and we try to achieve them. And we're not able to, where we're not able to hit the mark, or we're not able to meet other people's standards, we feel down within ourselves. And I think that's the first thing we have to do, is that whole concept of redefining whose
Mm-hmm.
standards of perfectionism we're trying to strive for, right?
Right.
Because truth be told, perfection, it doesn't exist. We may do something well, we may do it very well, but there's always someone who can kind of come and look at that and critique it, or say, well,
Mm-hmm.
this wasn't good enough, or we could do the same thing. And so when
Yeah.
we think about that, it truly does not exist, right? And so when we get rid of that definition of perfectionism and we try to really strive for, to me, what I say that I always want to strive for is a spirit of excellence. And for me, what that means
Mm.
is, what is my personal definition of what excellence is? It is being able to say, I am doing the best that I can with what I have. That,
Ooh.
that God sees me, that God knows in this season, if this is all the money that I have and I am
Mm-hmm.
showing up and giving this in love, then this is my spirit of excellence. And so there's a level of confidence in stepping in that and saying, redefining this whole perfectionism, and understanding that you have to define what excellence, or whatever your word is, right? What does that look like to you? What does that look like to you, that you are at a point of doing what you were created to do? And when we define that, it realized there is no like one way to do it, right? It
Right.
may take multiple times to do it. It may take, longer than we thought. And so to me, that is the best way that I could say with dealing with that spirit of perfectionism, is throwing it out the window, like getting rid of
Yes.
that and
Get rid of it.
redefining a higher standard of how we're going to exist.
I love it. I love it. I hope you all are tuned in. I hope, turn the volume up a little louder, because you need this to seep into your brains, because I think people know. It's not that people don't know that perfectionism is not a good thing. I think it just needs to get embedded into our mindset. And then we have to start shifting our being in order to adapt to it. Because I think every so often we always kind of like fall back into this, hashtag goals for perfectionism. And it's like, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. And I loved how you shifted it up and say, you know what? This is my excellence. This is my personal best. This is the best that I can do with what I have in my hands at this moment in time. So it really is about embracing who you are and what it is that you've been called to do.
Yes.
I got another one. What would you say to someone that says, you know what? I think I missed that opportunity.
Mm.
Situation came up, an opportunity came up, and I missed it. What would
Yeah.
you say to them?
Yeah, no, that's really good. Well, the first thing is to understand, sometimes we do. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we are not ready, not
Mm-hmm.
prepared. The opportunity comes. And I think it's important to realize that, because if we're not aware of that, then we miss multiple opportunities that are just
Mm-hmm.
right there, like looking at us, and we are too afraid. We are, insecure. We are not ready. And so, with that being said, I think that goes back to what we talked about, but in a more personal level of really reflecting on where are you in the moment? Where does your level of preparation? Sometimes we kind of say, like, I love the saying where if you always stay ready, then you don't have to like
Yes.
get ready,
You don't got to
right?
get ready.
And so that is where I would kind of focus that energy on, right? Not the negativity of, because what happens is, once we realize that either we may have missed opportunity, or understanding it just really wasn't our time just yet. Like, those are two things. So really seeking God, doing inner work to really decide, like, let me reflect on this. Let me not just like dwell on the negative of it. Let me reflect on it so that I can, course correct, do the things that I need to do to move in the right direction. But with that being said, when you decide whether it is something that, I just need to do more preparation for, or whether you really look at it and say, you know what, I know that just wasn't for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
it didn't have my name on it. If I would have went
Right.
that route, I would have maybe jumped into that. And yes, I would have got a yes, but later on it would have ended up like derailing me or causing more trouble, more stress that I couldn't handle. And so when I've learned the value of that, that has given me so much peace when it comes to doors that I may knock on and feel like, oh, did I miss it? Or, was that
Mm-hmm.
not for me? And I realized, you know what, as long as I am staying in a season of preparing and doing the best I can and showing up and knocking at those doors, then I haven't missed the opportunity, because in the right season, life is very sickler, and it will come
Yes.
back around. And the question is, will you be ready when it comes back around?
Come on.
And the beauty of like recognizing that and staying ready and doing the work, when you are ready, you walk into a door that may have taken 10 years if you would have got it like when you thought you missed it, that will only
Mm-hmm.
take 3 months, like less than a
Mm-hmm.
year, to
Mm-hmm.
advance in it, because you are so impactful, prepared, and ready to move forward on that thing. And so
Yes.
when we are able to stay in the positive mindset of saying, you know what, God is faithful and there is nothing that
Mm-hmm.
has been lost that I cannot regain, and we speak
Yes.
those words and we believe those words and we truly live that, because you can't just say it and not live it and not act that out and not keep going, then you're able to manifest, bring about even greater than what you thought you might have missed.
Woo, that was good,
Mm.
good, good, good. Like Campbell's soup, y'all. That was a good. Right. This is one of those messages that you're going to need to listen to now, but then you're going to need to save it, because it might be a season and a moment in time where you're going to need these very words. So I want you all to make certain you save this message. Now I got another one, because I'm coming for you, right? This is why I bring my experts here, because I want you to be able to coach us a little bit and to help us to understand how we overcome these barriers that we have to success. Now, what about the individual instead that says, "I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this. I think my time has passed. I'm too old to be trying to start a new business, go back to school. I'm too old." What would you say?
Yeah, no, I love that. I know it's like taboo for women to kind of share their age, but I'm gonna put mine out there. I
Uh-oh, come with
am
it.
44 years old, and I felt that way several times before, right? I have been married before. For 17 years. I'm divorced now. I've been divorced for 8 years, and just a lot of areas in life where, if I could just be transparent, I've wondered that same thing, right? But what I
Mm-hmm.
had to do is look at myself in the mirror. And I also had to have a conversation with God, a very real conversation,
Yes.
and ask him, like, what's going on? And what he told me is, like, age is something that is so in our mind. If we truly tend to our mental, our emotional, our physical health, and our well-being, we can still like bring about so much life, so much
Yes.
like spirit of living within ourselves, to where, I mean, I really love looking at the 65-year-old like bodybuilders out
Yes.
there who are just doing their thing, still running marathons, or those that I'm looking at like 90 something years old that graduate with their college diploma.
Yes.
And those are things that inspire me. And so, sometimes if you're looking that way, you have to like get out your own bubble and like truly like look at what life is doing and how people are still overcoming at any age. And so
Yes.
what I've learned to do is have my own personal discussion with myself, because our minds will go there. So I have to talk to my mind and say, you know what? Since you turned 30 years old, you're aging in reverse. And so, like, I literally, don't keep up with age unless I'm like brought to remember, because I don't feel like the age that I am. And so I
Yes.
truly say that if we can be healthy, if we can take care of ourselves, if we can, still be active and full our tanks up, then we still have gas in it to go. And so instead of looking at it as an age thing, really look at it as how are we fueling our minds, our bodies, mentally, emotionally, physically, to be able to live this life. And so regardless of what age you are, there is nothing that you can't do with God on your side. And if you
Mm.
truly, truly believe that, because a lot of us say that, and if you don't say it,
Yes.
then I just want to say personally, like, having a relationship with God has been very foundational in our mindset, which a lot of us
Yes.
deal with. But if not, just really deal with like those false limiting beliefs that we have, learn to overcome them, look at who's already, this is where I would say, like, pin a post of other people that are doing it, because then that lets us know that we're not by ourselves, that there's other people, there's other success stories, because maybe this person did something, or I can find some techniques or some strategies, or find
Mm-hmm.
ways that they did it that I can do it too, make some course correction within my own life so that I don't use that as an excuse, but I learn to like reverse that and to realize there is nothing nothing that I can't do with God on my side.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. I'm coming with another one. We coming in hot now. Oh, I'm gonna do that later. I just can't right now. I'm gonna do it later. I'm gonna go back to school later. I gotta wait until the kids get older. I gotta wait until the moon and the stars are in alignment. Let's talk about that spirit of procrastination. What would you say to someone who's got their feet, their heart, their mind entangled in procrastination?
Yeah, I'm going to start from a very honest place. For me, I learned the hard way that
Mm,
procrastination leads to something that will possibly never happen, and I learned that through death of people that I love.
mhm,
Within a 6 month period, just losing so much. I lost my mom to stage 4 stomach cancer. Went through a divorce. I've lost my father. Just relationships that I thought
mhm.
would always be there quickly was able to, like, within that, be changed. And so really understanding that life is not guaranteed. And
Mhm.
so if we truly want to live a life of purpose and a life that we were called and created to do, then we have to realize that we have to make an account to make every day count, to make every day matter, to make sure we
Mhm.
realize that what I usually kind of say and what I write about is time is our most valuable asset. And if we choose
Mhm.
to waste it or procrastinate, we can never get that back. And so
Yes.
really, like, not even trying to talk our way through it, but the truth is people are dying like every single day. And so to me, that becomes the most real thing for me of why I will not procrastinate, why I will not sit on my gifts. And I want to encourage those who are listening to realize that same thing. Don't let it be you losing someone or something that's very valuable
Mhm.
to you until you decide to get up and do what you know that is placed in, what you know is burning in your heart, that you know that you were created to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. She lighting a fire, y'all. Y'all better be jumping up, ready to conquer these goals and success, because I believe it is all within us.
Yes.
So as we started the conversation, we started with defining what success looks like to you. And so now what we're doing is we are just kind of erasing, or not even erasing, we are crossing them out, because you know what? We are acknowledging that these things exist. We're not going to erase them and pretend like they don't happen, like we're all these picture perfect people and we never experience these things. But we are just crossing them out. We are taking away the excuse and giving you the motivation to make certain that you keep going until you reach your definition of success, and success in any area of your life, whether it's your career, whether it's in your relationship. And to be honest, like, you should seek that success in every area. You should be a success in your health. You should be a success in your relationship with yourself. You should be a success in your relationship with other people. You should be a success based off of how you define it in every single area of your life.
Yeah, no, that's
So
good.
go
Can
for it.
I chime in for a little bit?
Yes,
Here,
please
I
do.
love the way that you talked about, like, peeling back the layers. And so I just wanted
Mhm,
to maybe address another area, another layer that pops up and that blocks us. And to me, it's that self-doubt, right? Very
mhm.
basically us not believing that we can. And to me, it starts there, right?
Yeah.
Why do we procrastinate? Because there's something
Mhm.
maybe within ourselves that is doubting that we're going to be successful in it. Why do we look for a spirit of perfectionism? Because we are doubting that we're going to be able to achieve that standard. And so
Yes.
I think at the very beginning, I talked about, sometimes we'll go to the problem and not really get to the root of it. And
Yeah.
so really understanding that so many of us deal with self-doubt within ourselves before we do anything. And so when we talk about success within our relationships, success within our jobs, success in anything that we want to do, it really, to me, me centers around, and this is for you to find out what your thing is, but this is one I want to identify because a lot of us can resonate, especially as Black girl or women, is dealing with that self-doubt within ourselves, where we don't believe we can. We don't believe that we're good enough. And I think I shared before, we don't believe that we're worthy of, having a good relationship. We don't believe that we're worthy of, doing more than working 16-hour days because that's what we were taught or whatever, And so really understanding that in order to overcome self-doubt, you have to be able to look at yourself, and you truly have to learn how to love the person that you are. If you're able to love the person you are, then you show up so much better when it comes to your relationships. You show up so much better when it comes to your job. You show up so much better when it comes to parenting your children, because you're not like striving and just looking at the external, what you see. You're truly able to start with a love for yourself. And when that resonates, it shows up better in relationships. You show up better as a parent. You show up better when you work, because there's just this level of internal joy, contentment, just that level of internal success that we're talking about is so necessary to achieve this external or success that relates to others or things that are outside of ourselves.
I love it. Now I gotta, this is going to be a tricky one, right? Maybe not, right? Based off of your definition for success in your life, what area would you say you were the most successful?
Yeah, I am the most successful at loving me now. And that was not always the case.
Yeah.
I know how to respect my boundaries. I know how to not make sure other people, no matter who it is, don't like overstep those anymore. I know how to still love. I know how to still forgive. I know how to still let go of things that no longer serve me. And so to truly say that I know how to start with me when it comes to success, and that is an internal thing before I even try to like achieve any other external goal for myself, is where I center at. And so can truly stand in my truth in putting that out. But that was not always the case. And I'm so grateful to be at this point now in life.
Yes, I totally relate to that. I think I'm loving on me more than I ever have.
I love that.
I think I understand me, I accept me a whole lot more than I did in the past.
Yeah.
And the past can even be yesterday.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
So each
beautiful.
day it's about learning, who you are, whose you are, and what it is that your eyes opened. Like, why did your eyes open today? There
Yes.
was a reason for it. And my ultimate goal is to figure out why today. You gave
Yeah.
me this day, Lord. Why today? And so my goal is to see what I can do in this day, in the time that I've been given, to see how I can learn about what it is that God is using me for with each and every day. So I applaud that you are now putting you first, because you know what? Most of the time, right? Most of the time when you are mom, when you are a working professional, and someone asks that question, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, I've reached this level in success on the career ladder, or I'm a successful parent because I've got X amount of children, right? I'm doing it for so long. But I think the being successful within yourself is probably the most important, because, and I say that because, and I know the believers is clutching their pearls a little bit, like, wait a second, Sheniqua, we are not more important than God, but we are God.
Yeah.
God dwells inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're disrespecting, if we're not loving, if we're not valuing, if we're not appreciating ourselves, how could we truly say that we love God
Yeah.
when He created us? So
Yeah.
it challenges the way we are accustomed to thinking. And that's why I love these conversations with different people, because it's not just Shaniqua saying it, here, take this. This is law. No, you're getting to hear these words from different people, whether they look like you or not. You're still able to hear these words. And if different people are saying similar things, then it must hold some form of weight to it. So I am a firm believer that we should be the biggest task, the biggest challenge, the biggest goal that we should be trying to achieve is that relationship to becoming our successful self,
I love that.
in our relationship. So I am so grateful that you shined a little light on that for people.
Yeah.
Now, I did mention about, you're being a mom, and you've been doing some really really great work with your kids as well. So this stuff that you're teaching and sharing and imparting into us, you are also imparting it into your people,
Hmm.
that God has given you to help to bring them up. What tips, what advice would you give to parents now in this plight for success, just in their household? Yeah, let's just say in their household. What advice would you give to parents about that?
Yeah, as a thank you for that question. I truly, truly love my children. I love myself, but they're a part of me, just like I'm a part of
Yes.
God. It's a cycle,
Yes.
right? And so when I understood the importance of seeing myself as a daughter of God, right? The way He loves me, the way He takes care of me, then I reflect on how I'm supposed to be as a mother to my children. As a single mom, there's a lot of stigma out there of things that we have
Hmm.
to overcome, or things that could, go wrong in our children's life if you don't have a man that's active there, or things like that. So I've learned to not look or dwell on the negativity of things, but to be a solution oriented person. And so,
Yes.
as I've strived to live my life, a life of purpose, it's always centered around what are solutions that's going to help my children. And so for
Hmm.
me, because of that whole stigma of, being a single Black woman, it's really going to affect our Black sons. I
Right.
created a mentorship program for my community called Boys Matter to Men, where I pair men who are successful men of character with young men. And I utilize that program for my son. And so not only do I help my son, but I help other people too. And so by setting an example to where I'm not that person who is complaining, who is bad mouthing life
Hmm.
for people, my kids see me as being a solution oriented person. The books that
Right.
I write, whether it be for youth, they are a part of that journey, right? My son is now a co author with me. We published his book, Don't
Yes.
Quit. He had a mental health crisis. And instead of looking at that crisis as being a negative, once we got through it, and with his permission, he's 17 now, I asked, do you want to share? And so when he was 16, we wrote and released his book about our journey together and how he's continued to overcome it. And so instead of him being a victim of a diagnosis or situation, he now has a voice. He's now an overcomer. And so instead of me just saying, this is what you need to do, I'm showing him by example. I'm
Yes.
letting him be a voice, that he now can have. I'm, help walking him through that. And then I have a 14-year-old daughter. And right now, the other thing that you hear is the relationship between mothers and daughters, or, when they hit teenage years, a lot of
Hmm.
them lose that. Well, I'm doing something about it. So me and my daughter are creating a book called Bonding Matters, to where we're going to live this out and bond as we write and share with other people so that I don't lose her in this process. And so
Mm-hmm.
I still tap into the things that she likes, and we're making other people learn about it. And so from the very beginning, I think I shared when I went through that period of losing so much, and I
Mm-hmm.
took a whole, in 2015, I took a whole year off just like sitting. And when I say that after that year was over, I heard God said, it's time. So when it became
Yes.
time, I brought my kids with me. They became,
Yes.
many entrepreneurs with me. They became illustrators. They became a part of this journey so that I wasn't leaving them out, so they could always see what this healing continual journey looks like. And
Mm-hmm.
so as they live life, they not only have something that they can just look at, but they've experienced it with me. They've healed with me. We are living, together and planning out. And so I just want to encourage other parents who may feel that distant has come or exists to really like take a pause. And I think I shared that at the very beginning, taking those pauses and really pausing when things in your life that you value as important aren't going right. Sometimes what we do is we keep going and we don't stop. We might be having an issue that starts small with our youth or with our child, and instead of addressing it, we just like get mad, we yell, we punish them, and then we keep going, but really haven't resolved it. And there's
Mm-hmm.
now this gap that's happening and occurring. And so I just really want to encourage our parents to like be in the now. And if you're seeing these things happen, and if it's gone too far, it's never too late to course correct. It's never too late to go back and apologize. It's never too late to have these discussions. It's never too late to seek mental health support or counseling to help you learn how to better communicate with your child, because they are innocent, precious, and we are their greatest teacher. And so not expecting a teacher, not expecting someone else, not expecting a pastor to be the one that is the key person in your child's life, but find a way that you still can have a part, even as they grow and evolve in life, and friends and peers, still make sure that you have an ever-present role in their life also.
Oh, that was so good. Look, you guys know I be getting a little selfish sometimes. I be wanting a little advice from myself, but I know everyone else will be able to benefit from it. That was just so good. Dr. Elizabeth, before I let you go, are you working on anything in particular now? Like what's going on in your world?
Yeah, so we connected when we were in South Africa, and it was kind of a tour in regards to authors, speakers, just really getting to know the process of forgiveness. And so for me, I realized that I am so passionate about writing. I am so passionate about being able to express all that is within me. And it is such a healing journey. And so since coming back, I have kind of realigned, being more strategic in my business. A lot of my books that I have, were on Amazon. And now I'm using rememberyoumattercoaching.com, which is my business, to now bring my products on there. And so I am creating an online bookstore that is really centered around learning the importance of literacy, of reading, of healing for youth, for adults, making it an experience. And so for me, that is what I'm creating, is that side of I've written 11 books up to this point. I'm now working on 3 other ones. And so really just being able to tap into the side of self-help. I'm also now venturing now into fiction writing because I'm passionate about that. And so that were some of the things that I'm really doing, is just really learning to kind of niche into where I am in this season. And it is pouring out through something that I can leave a legacy with, and that's writing for me. And so that's what I'm doing quite a bit of within my life, within myself. I am just loving on me, loving on my children, and learning to pull back from the business of life to truly be present and to make more time and space where I can enjoy traveling and doing the things that I really love.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And I hope, I hope that everyone who is tuning in, that you are going to take heed to these amazing words that Dr. Elizabeth is sharing with us, that they are literally pouring from her heart. I'm going to make certain that I put some of the links in the description box so that you can click on it. I'm definitely going to put that link to the website, and I also want you all to get a copy of a few of her books. I know she's got a lot. She's in good company, right? But there's going to be something that would benefit you and where you're at. And I also want to ask that you all will support her book project with her son, that is out. Don't quit, because that's a message, that's a reminder that people need to hear. They need to see it. Like, even if you just get the book and you leave it on the bookshelf, but it's facing you, it's going to be your inspiration. It's going to be your reminder that there is so much more in store for you. And we've already shattered those obstacles towards success. Now the only other thing to do is to do it, right? Just to do it.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Elizabeth, is there any other words of encouragement that are bubbling in your heart that you want to release before we let you go for the day?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on. I know some people get overwhelmed when they see a lot of resources and books and things, but there's one in particular based on this topic that I really want to share. Thank you for sharing about my son and Don't Quit. I agree. It gives me motivation too. But specifically, I created a workbook that's called The Finisher's Mindset. And it is really centered around people who have a hard time accomplishing goals, whether they have a hard time getting started, whether they have a hard time keeping going, or whether they have a hard time finishing. And it walks you through whatever that thing is, how to like walk it out and really be able to accomplish it and see that completed to the end. So really want to share that. It is a finisher's mindset. It is available on Amazon currently. It will be on my website, but right now you can get that as of today. And I've had some really great feedback on how that's helped people to really be successful and meet goals that they want to accomplish. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the conversation that we started in South Africa. I want to thank you for honoring your word and connecting again, so that we could kind of bridge platforms. There's so many beautiful people doing wonderful things, and you are truly one of those who is being successful in every area and highlighting the importance of mental wellness, mental well-being, and realizing that there is no limits on what we're able to accomplish through having the ability to believe in ourselves, to be able to share our stories, and to be able to highlight our voices and things. And so to those of you who are listening in, please know that nothing is ever by accident, right? And whether you are listening to this very recent, whether this is later on down the road and you're playing the replay of it, please remember that God sees you. God knows what it is that you need, and he will bring different tools. He would allow different resources to be available right in front of you to be able to hit you where you're at. And so realize that you are not forgotten, that whatever it is that you may be dealing with, whatever it is that you feel like you have been knocking your head against the wall, it is never too late to start over again. All you have to do is take one step and realize that that one step can change your entire life, because it gets you going in a place that you were stuck in. So I want to encourage you to, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling unworthy, if you're feeling like you're not able to, get rid of all those limited beliefs and realize that you are truly the apple of God's eye, that you deserve the very best that this world, that this life has to offer you, and that there is nothing that you cannot accomplish with God on your side. And thank you so much for having me on the Black Girl Encourage Her.
Amen. Amen. That was hot, hot, hot. I am loving it. Again, Dr. Elizabeth, we say thank you. Hang out for just a moment. Listen, everybody, did I deliver? Did I deliver with bringing forth this great, great, great guest to just speak life? And I want you to repeat this. I want you to hear it now. Listen to it tomorrow. Listen to it the next day, because you need that life consistently spoken into your ears to help you to reach your level of success. And as Dr. Elizabeth shared, it is about the mindset. It is about having a finisher's mindset that is going to get us from that place where we're stuck to the place that God has in store for us. So until next week, I want you all to stay in that mindset of success. And I want you to make certain that you are sharing this message, that you are subscribing to this channel, because we are bringing forth the encouragement that you need, not just for today, not just for tomorrow, but continuously. So until next week, you all have a very, very blessed week, and I'll see you all again real soon. God bless.